The cold metal floor pressed against Jiwon's back. She could feel every icy surface through her torn thermal suit. Blood was spreading across her side, warm and sticky. The emergency foam had stopped the worst of the bleeding, but it still hurt like fire. Every breath felt like someone was stabbing her with a knife. The station was dark. Only a few red emergency lights flickered on the walls. This place was old, really old. It was built back when humans thought they were alone in space. Now it was just a forgotten building floating in the void. Nobody came here anymore. That was exactly why Jiwon had chosen it. She heard soft scratching sounds in the darkness. Small feet on metal. The cubs were coming closer. They had been following her for 3 days now, ever since she pulled them from the wreckage. 3 small aliens with purple eyes and soft gray fur. They looked like wolves, but they walked on 2 legs and had hands with tiny claws. The oldest one appeared first. It was maybe the size of a human child, but Jiwon knew it would grow much bigger. The Valkyrie became massive when they were adults, 7 feet tall, covered in muscle, with teeth that could bite through steel. They were hunters, killers, the most feared warriors in this part of space, but right now they were just scared children. The oldest cub came closer. Its ears were flat against its head. That meant it was worried. Jiwon had learned some of their body language over the past few days. She slowly lifted her hand, moving carefully so she would not scare them. "It's okay," she whispered. Her voice was rough. "We made it. We're safe now." She did not believe her own words. The cubs had tracking devices inside their bodies, small chips that their parents put there to keep them safe. But now those chips were going to get them all killed. The Valkyrie pack would follow those signals. They would come here, and when they did, they would tear Jiwon apart. The oldest cub touched her hand with its small paw. The fur was soft like a cat. It made a small chirping sound asking if she was okay. The other 2 cubs came out of the shadows. They climbed onto her chest carefully, trying not to hurt her wound. They were warm. Their little hearts were beating fast. Jiwon wrapped her arms around them. They started making a rumbling sound like purring. They felt safe with her. That made her want to cry. These little ones had no idea what was coming. They did not know that their own people would probably kill her the moment they arrived. 3 days ago, everything had been different. Jiwon had been tracking a criminal group, bad people who smuggled weapons and drugs across the galaxy. She had been following them for months, trying to gather proof of their crimes. Then she found the escape pod floating in space. At first, she thought it was just space junk, but her ship sensors picked up life signs inside. 3 small heartbeats. She brought the pod into her cargo bay and opened it. That was when she found them. 3 terrified cubs huddled together, shaking with fear. The pod had a data recorder. Jiwon watched the video. She saw everything. A Valkyrie transport ship with a family on board, 5 adults and 3 cubs. They were going to a colony world for a vacation. Then one of the adults pulled out a gun. He started shooting. The cub's mother fought back, trying to protect her babies. She managed to put them in the escape pod before she died. The killer's name was Dong-Yun. He was part of the same family group, the same pack. But someone had paid him to murder them all. Jiwon saw the money transfer on the recording. Blood money. Someone wanted this family dead, and they paid one of their own to do it. Jiwon knew she should have called the authorities. She should have handed the cubs over to the Valkyrie embassy. But she also knew that the killers would be looking for the escape pod. They would want to finish the job. And if she called the embassy, word might get out. The cubs would be dead before help arrived, so she ran. She took the cubs and ran as fast as her ship could go. The criminals found her anyway. They attacked 2 days ago. Jiwon managed to fight them off, but her ship was damaged. She barely made it to this old station before her engines died. Now she was lying on the floor with 3 alien children sleeping on her chest. Her ship was gone. She had destroyed it herself to hide their trail. The station had some food and water, enough for maybe a week. After that, they would starve. If the pack did not find them first, the station's computer made a soft beeping sound. Its mechanical voice filled the room. The voice had no emotion, just cold facts. Medical emergency detected. Occupant requires immediate treatment. Activating automated medical systems. A small robot rolled out from a wall panel. It looked like a metal box with arms. It moved toward Jiwon, its sensors scanning her wound. The cubs hissed at it, protecting her. She calmed them with soft words and let the robot do its work. The robot injected something into her arm. Pain medicine. Then it started working on her wound, sealing it properly. The emergency foam had kept her from bleeding to death, but this was better. Real medical treatment. She felt the pain start to fade. Her vision cleared a little. "Thank you," she told the robot, even though it could not care. It just beeped and rolled away. The cubs settled back down on her chest. They were already falling asleep. They felt safe with her, trusted her completely. Ji-won wondered what their mother had been like. Had she been fierce? Protective? She must have been. To fight so hard to save her children. Ji-won thought about her own mother. Dead now, 10 years gone. Cancer had taken her slowly. Ji-won had been in the military then. She could not take leave to be with her mother at the end. That was one of many regrets she carried. The military. That felt like another life now. She had been a good soldier once. She followed orders. She believed in protecting people. Then she found out that some of her commanders were corrupt. They were working with smugglers, letting criminals operate in exchange for money. When Ji-won reported it, they destroyed her career. Dishonorably discharged, blacklisted, no job, no future, so she became a smuggler herself, not because she wanted to, but because she had to survive. She only took jobs that seemed harmless. Medicine to poor colonies. Information to people who needed it. She drew the line at weapons and drugs. She still had some principles, even if the galaxy thought she was trash. Maybe that was why she could not abandon these cubs. They were innocent. They had done nothing wrong, but people wanted them dead anyway. Just like her. The system had failed them both. The oldest cub made a small sound in its sleep. A bad dream, maybe. She once stroked its head gently until it calmed down. Its fur was so soft. It seemed impossible that something so gentle would grow into a fierce warrior. But that was the Velkari way. They were raised to fight, to hunt, to never show mercy to their enemies. Their whole culture was built around strength and honor. They respected courage and hated weakness. Ji-won was weak compared to them. Humans were. No claws, no fangs, no thick hide to protect them. Just soft skin and fragile bones. Humans had survived in the galaxy by being clever, by building good technology, by making alliances. But in a straight fight against a Velkari warrior, a human had no chance. The pack would come soon. They would track the cubs here. And when they found Ji-won with their children, they would assume she had kidnapped them. They would not listen to explanations. They would just see a human criminal with their young. That was a death sentence. Ji-won closed her eyes. She was so tired. The medicine was making her sleepy. She knew she should stay awake. Should prepare. Should think of a plan. But she had nothing left. No ship, no weapons, no way out. The cub's purring was like a gentle vibration against her chest. It was a soothing sound, comforting. She let herself relax just a little. Maybe she could rest for an hour. Just 1 hour. Then she would figure out what to do. Her hand rested on the cubs protectively, even as sleep pulled her down. If this was her last night alive, at least she had done one good thing. She had saved 3 innocent lives. That had to count for something. Somewhere far away, beyond the cold walls of the station, beyond the empty blackness of space, the pack was coming. Warships with powerful engines. Warriors with weapons and rage. They were coming for their children, and they were coming for blood. The warship Bloodfang cut through space like a blade. It was massive, dark metal covered in weapons. Inside, the corridors were filled with warriors preparing for battle. The air smelled of metal and anger. Alpha Rakesh stood on the command bridge. He was huge, even for a Velkari, almost 8 feet tall. His fur was dark gray, almost black. Scars covered his arms and chest. Each scar was a story. Each story was a battle won. His claws were out. That was a bad sign. When Rakesh showed his claws, someone was about to die. In front of him floated a holographic image, a map of space with a single point of light. That light was the tracking signal from the cubs. His sister's children. The only family he had left. How long, he asked. His voice was rough, deep, like rocks grinding together. Taman stepped forward. He was Rakesh's second in command. Younger, faster, but not as strong. 3 hours, Alpha, maybe less if we push the engines. Push them, Rakesh said. I want to be there now. The ship shuddered as the engines roared harder. Everyone on the bridge could feel it. The whole vessel was straining. Racing toward their target, Rakesh stared at the hologram. He kept seeing his sister's face in his mind. Hyejin. She had been brave, strong, a good mother. She was supposed to be next in line to lead the pack if anything happened to him. Now she was dead. Murdered along with her mate and the other adults. Only the cubs survived. 3 small children who should have been safe. Should have been protected. Instead, they were in the hands of a human. A criminal. A thief. The thought made Rakesh's blood boil. Humans were nothing. Weak creatures who had barely learned to leave their own planet. They had no honor. No strength. They survived by lying and stealing and hiding behind their machines. And now one of them had his family. Yuna approached from the side. She was the pack's best tracker. Her job was to find things, people, ships, secrets. She was good at it. Alpha, I have more information on the human. Rakesh turned to face her. Tell me. Yuna pulled up another hologram. A woman's face appeared. Human, young, dark hair, tired eyes. Her name is Jiwan. She was in the human military once. They kicked her out for reporting corruption. After that, she became a smuggler. A smuggler, Rakesh repeated. What does she smuggle? Medicine mostly, information, nothing violent. She refuses jobs involving weapons or slaves. But she has a record. Multiple arrests. She always escapes before trial. So she is clever, Taman said. That makes her dangerous. She is human, Rakesh growled. That makes her nothing. Clever or not, she will die, Yuna continued. The Cub's escape pod was found in her ship's cargo hold. The ship itself was destroyed 2 days ago. She made it explode to cover her trail. Very thorough. Where is she now? Rakesh demanded. An old research station. Theta 7. It was built by humans before they knew about aliens. Now it is abandoned. No defenses. No weapons. Just an empty building, Rakesh smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the smile of a predator who had cornered its prey. The human had nowhere to run. No way to fight. She was trapped in a metal box waiting for death to arrive. Good, he said. Call the pack to the war room. I want everyone ready. 20 minutes later, the war room was full. 27 warriors filled the space. All of them were huge. All of them were armed. They wore black armor covered in spikes and blades. Each warrior carried weapons that could tear through steel. Rakesh stood at the front. Behind him, the hologram showed the station. A small gray building floating in space. It looked so fragile. So easy to destroy, brothers and sisters, Rakesh began. His voice filled the room. You all know why we are here. My sister Hyejin is dead. Her mate is dead. Their ship was destroyed. Only the cubs survived, the room growled. Every warrior showed their teeth. The sound was terrifying. A human has taken them, Rakesh continued. A smuggler. A criminal. She has our young. Our future. Our blood, more growls. Warriors hit their weapons against the floor. The sound was like thunder. She thinks she is safe in that station. She thinks she can hide from us. But she is wrong. We will board that station. We will take back our cubs. And we will make her pay for what she has done. The warriors howled. It was a battle cry. A promise of violence. The sound shook the walls. Rakesh raised his hand for silence. We go in fast, hard, no mercy. The station has no defenses, so this will be easy. But stay alert. Humans are cowards. They use tricks and traps. Watch for explosives. Watch for poison. Trust nothing. What about the cubs? Someone asked. They might be in danger. The cubs are strong, Rakesh said. They are Velkari. They will survive until we reach them. Our job is to get there fast and kill anything that stands between us and our family. More howls. More weapons hitting the floor. The pack was ready. Eager. They wanted blood. Rakesh dismissed them to prepare. As they left, Taman stayed behind. He looked troubled. Alpha, he said quietly. Something bothers me. Speak, Rakesh ordered. Why were the cubs in an escape pod? The ship was destroyed, yes. But escape pods launch automatically when there is danger. Someone had to put the cubs inside first, manually. Rakesh frowned. He had not thought about that. Escape pods were for emergencies. You had to open them, seal them, launch them. That took time. Someone had saved the cubs on purpose. Hyejin, Rakesh said slowly. My sister must have done it. She knew the ship was doomed. She saved her children. Yes, Taman agreed. But that means the attack came from inside the ship. Not outside. The human did not destroy the vessel. Someone on board did. The two warriors stared at each other. This changed things. If the ship was destroyed from inside, that meant betrayal. One of their own had killed Hyejin's family. "We will find out the truth when we get there," Rakesh said. "The human has answers. I will make her talk before she dies." But doubt had entered his mind. Just a small seed. A tiny question. If the human destroyed the ship, why did she save the cubs? Why not let them die with everyone else? Rakesh pushed the thought away. It did not matter. The human had his family. That was enough reason to kill her. The blood fang continued racing through space. Inside, warriors checked their weapons, sharpened their claws, said prayers to the old gods of the hunt. They were coming for retribution, coming for justice, coming for blood. On the station, Jiwan slept with 3 cubs on her chest. She did not know that death was racing toward her, did not know that she had less than 3 hours to live. The cubs slept peacefully, safe, warm, trusting in the human who had pulled them from the void. Soon, everything would change. Jiwan woke up slowly. Her body felt heavy. The medicine had made her sleep deeply. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she felt the weight on her chest and remembered everything. The 3 cubs were still sleeping on her. They looked peaceful. Happy even. Their little chests rose and fell with each breath. One of them had its paw stretched out, touching her face. Jiwan carefully moved them to the side. They grumbled softly but did not wake. She stood up, testing her wound. The pain was much better now. The medical robot had done good work. She could move without wanting to scream. She walked to the control panel. "Station computer, what is our status?" The computer's voice was calm and cold. "Multiple vessels detected approaching the station. Classification Velkari military. Estimated time of arrival 4 hours. Recommendation immediate evacuation 4 hours." That was all the time she had left. 4 hours before the pack arrived and tore her apart. Jiwan looked around the medical bay. It was clean but empty. There were supplies here, medicine, food, water, but no weapons, no ship, no way to escape. She could try to hide. The station was big. Lots of rooms and corridors. But the Velkari would search everywhere, and the cubs had tracking devices. The pack would find them no matter where they hid. Jiwan sat down at the control panel. She pulled out the data chip she had taken from the cubs' escape pod. This chip held the truth, the recording of what really happened on that ship. She plugged it into the station's computer. The screen lit up with video. Jiwan had watched this recording many times. Each time made her angrier. The video showed the inside of a Velkari transport ship. It was a nice ship, clean, comfortable. A family was traveling together, 5 adults and 3 cubs. They were going on vacation to a colony world. Everyone looked happy. Then everything changed. One of the adults stood up. A male Velkari named Dongyun. He pulled out a weapon. Before anyone could react, he started shooting. The cub's mother jumped up. She was fast, strong. She fought Dongyun, trying to protect her family. But he shot her mate first. Then the other 2 adults. The mother was alone, wounded, facing a killer. The cubs were screaming, terrified. Their mother grabbed them. She was bleeding badly, but she did not stop. She dragged the cubs to the escape pod. She put them inside, sealed the door, launched them into space. Dongyun shot her while she was at the controls. She fell. The last thing the camera saw was her hand reaching toward the escape pod, trying to touch her children one last time. Then Dongyun did something interesting. He accessed the ship's computer. A money transfer appeared on screen. Anonymous account. 5 million credits. Blood money. He had been paid to murder this family. After that, he set the ship to self-destruct. The recording ended. Jiwan had found the escape pod drifting in space 2 hours after the ship exploded. She pulled the cubs out. They were shaking, crying. Too young to understand that their whole family was gone. She knew she should report this to the authorities. But she also knew the criminals would be looking for the cubs. They paid for one murder. They would pay for another. The cubs would be dead before any investigation could start. So Jiwan ran. She tried to protect them, tried to keep them safe, and now the pack thought she was the killer. She spoke to the computer. "Can you broadcast this recording when the Velkari arrive?" "Yes. However, probability of successful communication before hostile action is low. Estimated at 12%. 12%. That meant an 88% chance they would kill her before watching the video. Those were terrible odds, but it was better than nothing. Prepare the broadcast. Send it the moment their ships arrive. Keep sending it until they respond. Acknowledged. Jiwon looked back at the sleeping cubs. They trusted her so completely. They had no idea the danger they were in. No idea that their own family was coming to rescue them and might kill her in the process. She walked over and sat beside them. The oldest cub opened its eyes. Those violet eyes looked at her with such trust. It made her heart hurt. Your family is coming, she whispered to it. They are coming to take you home. You will be safe soon. The cub chirped softly. It did not understand her words, but it understood her tone. Gentle, caring. It snuggled closer to her. Jiwon thought about running. She could lock the cubs in this room, take one of the station's emergency pods, launch herself into space before the pack arrived. The cubs would be fine. Their family would find them, but the criminals were still out there. The ones who paid for the murder. They knew the cubs survived. They would try again. Someone needed to tell the pack about the real killers. Someone needed to make sure the cubs stayed safe. Besides, Jiwon was tired of running, tired of hiding, tired of being alone. If she was going to die, at least she would die doing the right thing. Protecting children who could not protect themselves, that was worth something. Maybe not much, but something. The other two cubs woke up. They climbed onto her lap, joining their sibling. All three purred together. The sound was soothing. Like a gentle vibration, Jiwon wrapped her arms around them. She felt tears on her face but did not wipe them away. Let them fall. Nobody was watching. Nobody would judge her for being weak. I am sorry, she told the cubs. I am sorry your mother died. Sorry your family was taken from you. Sorry I could not do more. The cubs just purred. They did not know what she was saying. Did not understand her grief. To them she was safety, warmth, food, love. They would forget her eventually. Once they were back with their family, with their own kind, they would forget the human who saved them. That was okay. As long as they lived, as long as they grew up safe and strong, that was all that mattered. Jiwon checked the time. 3.5 hours left. She decided to feed the cubs. They would be hungry. The station had food synthesizers. She made them a meal of protein paste. It was not great, but it was nutritious. The cubs ate eagerly. They were growing fast. In a few years they would be bigger than her, stronger, able to tear her apart with their bare hands. But right now they were just babies, sweet, innocent, trusting. After they ate, the cubs wanted to play. Jiwon found some old equipment in a storage room. Boxes, cables, random junk. The cubs pounced on everything, wrestling with each other, practicing their hunting skills. She watched them play and smiled. Despite everything, despite the fear and pain and hopelessness, watching these cubs made her happy. They were alive. They were safe. For now, that was enough. The computer spoke. 2 hours until arrival, 2 hours. Time was running out. Jiwon gathered the cubs. They were tired from playing. She brought them back to the medical bay. She found blankets and made them a comfortable nest. They curled up together, already falling asleep. She sat beside them, her back against the wall. She would wait here. When the pack came, they would find her with the cubs. Not hiding, not running, just waiting, protecting them until the very end. Maybe, if she was very lucky, they would watch the recording before killing her. Maybe they would understand. Maybe they would see that she was not the enemy, or maybe they would just tear her apart and ask questions later. Either way, the cubs would be safe. That was what mattered. Jiwon closed her eyes and waited for death to arrive. The Bloodfang dropped out of hyperspace like a hammer falling from the sky. One moment there was nothing. The next, a massive warship appeared above the station. Its shadow fell across the small building like the hand of death. On the bridge, Rakesh stared at the station through the viewport. It looked so small, so fragile. One shot from his weapons could destroy it completely. But the cubs were inside. His family. He would not risk their lives. Scan complete, Taman reported. 1 human. 3 Valkyrie cubs. All life signs stable. No other threats detected. No weapons. No defenses. The station is broadcasting something, Yuna said. A video file. Repeating message. Rakesh did not care about messages. Launch the boarding pods. All warriors. We take the station now. 27 warriors loaded into boarding pods. Small metal spheres with rockets and drills. They launched from the Bloodfang like bullets. They crossed the space between the ship and station in seconds. The pods hit the station's hull. Drills activated, Metal screamed. The pods tore through the outer wall like claws through paper. Alarms started screaming inside the station. Red lights flashed everywhere. Warriors poured out of the pods. They moved through the corridors like a wave of violence. Weapons raised, eyes searching, ready to kill anything that moved. But the station was empty. Just dark hallways and flickering lights. No resistance, no traps, no explosives, just silence. Rakesh led the way to the medical bay. His sensors showed the cubs were there. He burst through the door, weapon ready. And then he stopped. The human was sitting against the wall. Her hands were raised, empty, no weapons. No threats. She looked tired, scared but not aggressive. And on her chest, sleeping peacefully, were the 3 cubs. Rakesh stared. This was not what he expected. The cubs were not in cages, not locked away, not hurt. They were sleeping on the human like she was their mother. Comfortable, content, safe. Warriors filled the room behind him. Dozens of weapons pointed at the human, but she did not move, did not try to run. She just sat there with the cubs sleeping on her chest. Alpha, the human said quietly. Her voice was steady, calm. Before you kill me, you need to watch the recording. Your cubs need you to see it. Rakesh's lip curled. His fangs showed. You dare give me orders? You who stole my family? Alpha, Yuna interrupted. She was looking at a medical scanner. The cubs are healthy. No injuries, no drugs. They show no signs of stress or fear. They are well fed, well cared for. The oldest cub stirred. It yawned, showing tiny fangs. Its purple eyes opened. It looked at Rakesh and chirped in recognition. Uncle, family, pack. But the cub did not climb off the human, did not run to Rakesh. Instead, it snuggled closer to Jiwan. It purred. That deep rumbling sound of contentment, of feeling safe. Rakesh felt his world tilt. Cubs did not purr near threats. They did not stay with people who scared them. They ran to family when family arrived. But this cub chose to stay with the human. Something is wrong here, Taman said quietly. This does not make sense. Rakesh lowered his weapon slightly. What recording? He demanded. The one from the cub's escape pod, G1 said. It shows what really happened on their ship. Shows who killed your sister. It was not me. Lies, Rakesh growled. But doubt was growing in his mind. Nothing about this situation made sense. Why were the cubs so comfortable? Why was the human not fighting or running? The station has been broadcasting it since you arrived, Jiwan said. Your ship should have received it. Watch it, please, for them. She looked down at the sleeping cubs. Her hand rested on them protectively. She was ready to die, Rakesh could see that. But she wanted him to know the truth first. Rakesh turned to Yuna. Play it. Yuna accessed the broadcast. A hologram appeared in the air. The video started playing. Every warrior in the room watched in silence. They saw the transport ship, saw the happy family, saw Dongyun stand up with a weapon, the betrayal, the murder, Yejin fighting desperately to save her children. Rakesh watched his sister die, watched her put the cubs in the escape pod, watched her get shot while launching them to safety. Her last act was saving her children. Then the video showed Dongyun checking his payment. 5 million credits. Blood money. The video ended. The medical bay was completely silent except for the soft purring of the cubs. Dongyun, Taman whispered, one of our own. He killed them all, warriors growled. The sound was like thunder. Betrayal was the worst crime in Velkari culture. Worse than murder. Worse than anything. The video continued automatically. It showed a second recording. G1's ship finding the escape pod. Her opening it. The cubs inside terrified and alone. Her gentle hands pulling them out. Feeding them. Caring for them. The recording showed criminals attacking her ship. Showed her fighting them off while protecting the cubs. Showed her taking a plasma bolt meant for them. Showed her bleeding as she carried them to safety. Showed her destroying her own ship to hide their trail from the killers. The recordings ended. Nobody spoke. Rakesh slowly lowered his weapon completely. His voice was hollow when he spoke. She saved them. Yes, Jawan said softly. I saved them. And now they are yours again. I kept them safe. That is all I wanted. The oldest cub climbed off Jiwan's chest. It walked to Rakesh, touched his leg with one small paw. Then it went back to Jiwan and climbed onto her lap. Protecting her, choosing her. They have bonded with her, Yuna said. Cubs imprint on whoever protects them during trauma. To them, she is family now. Family. The word hit Rakesh like a physical blow. This human, this small, weak creature, had done what he could not. She had saved his family, protected them, bled for them, and he had come here to kill her. Rakesh holstered his weapon. He approached slowly. Jiwan tensed but did not move. He knelt down in front of her. His massive form towered over her even when kneeling. "Why?" he asked. "Why did you do this?" "You could have left them. Could have reported it to authorities. Instead, you risked your life. Why?" Jiwan looked at the cubs in her lap. She stroked their fur gently. "Because they are children. Because they needed help. Because nobody else would save them." She looked up at Rakesh. Her eyes were wet with tears, but her voice was steady. "I could not let them die. I would not. Even if it cost me everything." Rakesh stared at her. This human who should be nothing. Who he had come to kill. She had more honor than Dongyun. More courage than any warrior he knew. She had given up everything to save children who were not even her species. That was true strength. He stood slowly. "Warriors, lower your weapons. This human is not our enemy." 27 weapons lowered as one. Rakesh turned back to Jiwan. "The pack owes you a debt. You saved our future. That is not a small thing." Jiwan shook her head. "I do not want a debt. I just want to know they will be safe." "They will be safe," Rakesh promised. "And so will you. The cubs have chosen you. We respect that choice. You are pack now." Jiwan started crying. Real tears now, relief, joy, fear, everything at once. She had expected to die. Instead, she had found family. The cubs purred louder, sensing her emotions. They pressed against her, giving comfort. And in that moment, everything changed. The pack had come for retribution. They found compassion instead, and it changed them forever. 3 weeks passed. The galaxy had changed in small but important ways. The Bloodfang traveled through space toward a secret base. This base belonged to the criminal syndicate. The same criminals who paid Dongyun to murder Rakesh's sister. The same criminals who tried to kill Jiwan and the cubs. Now they were going to pay. Jiwan stood in the war room with Rakesh and the other warriors. She wore Velkari armor now, black metal with sharp edges. It was heavy, but she had learned to move in it. The pack had trained her, taught her their ways, their tactics. She was pack now. Family. One of them. The cubs were on the ship too. They were in a nursery room with other young Velkari. Safe, protected, growing bigger every day. But they still came to see Jiwan every morning. Still slept near her at night. The bond had not broken. Rakesh pointed at the hologram. It showed the criminal base. "This is where they operate. 30 guards. Heavy weapons, but nothing we cannot handle." "What about Dongyun?" Taemin asked. "Did we find him?" "Yes," Yuna said. "He is at the base, hiding with the criminals, probably spending his blood money." Every warrior growled. Dongyun had betrayed the pack, killed family for money. That was unforgivable. His death would be slow, painful. He would beg for mercy that would never come. The attack happened at dawn. The Bloodfang appeared above the base without warning. Boarding pods launched. Warriors poured out like an avalanche. The criminals never had a chance. Jiwan fought alongside them. She was not as strong as the Velkari. Not as fast, but she was clever. She knew how to use cover, how to aim, how to survive. The pack had taught her well. They found Dongyun in a back room. He was trying to escape through a secret tunnel. Rakesh grabbed him by the throat and lifted him into the air. "Please," Dongyun begged. "I had no choice. They threatened my family. They made me do it." "Lies," Rakesh growled. "We saw the recording. You killed for money. Nothing else." "The cubs," Dongyun gasped. "Are they alive?" "I tried to save them. I launched the escape pod." "My sister launched the pod," Rakesh said coldly, with her dying breath. "You murdered her. You murdered them all." Dongyun looked at Jiwan. His eyes went wide. You are the human. You took the cubs. Where are they?" "Safe," Jiwan said. "No thanks to you." Rakesh tightened his grip. Dongyun struggled but could not break free. He was weaker than the Alpha, slower. He had always relied on tricks and betrayal. Now there was nowhere to hide. "The syndicate," Rakesh demanded. "Who paid you? Who wanted my sister dead?" Dongyun hesitated. Rakesh squeezed harder. Bones cracked. "Talk!" The Crimson Syndicate, Donghyun gasped. They wanted your succession line disrupted. Your sister was next in line. With her dead and the cubs gone, leadership would pass to Taemin's line.
They thought it would cause a civil war.
Make the pack weak. Rakesh looked at Taemin. His second-in-command looked shocked, horrified. The syndicate had tried to use him as a weapon against his own pack. I would never betray the pack, Taemin said. Never. I know, Rakesh said. Then he looked back at Donghyun. But he did. What happened next was quick. Donghyun did not suffer long. Rakesh made sure of that. Not because he was merciful, but because the traitor did not deserve a warrior's death. He deserved nothing. The base burned. The syndicate was destroyed. Every criminal inside died. The pack took everything. Weapons, money, information. All of it went to compensate the families Donghyun had destroyed. When they returned to the Bloodfang, Jiwon went straight to the nursery. The cubs were playing. They saw her and ran over, chirping happily. They were bigger now, almost up to her waist. Growing so fast, she knelt down and they climbed all over her, purring, happy, safe. Rakesh watched from the doorway. Yuna stood beside him. The cubs will never be normal warriors, Yuna said. They are bonded to a human. That changes everything. Good, Rakesh said. Normal is not always better. These cubs will grow up understanding both Velkari and human ways. That makes them unique, special. And the human? Yuna asked. What happens to her? Rakesh smiled. It was not his predator smile. It was something warmer, softer. She stays. She is pack. Family. The cubs chose her and we honor that choice. The other packs will talk, Yuna warned. A human in our pack, that has never happened before. Let them talk, Rakesh said. Humans and Velkari have been enemies for too long. Maybe it is time for that to change. Maybe this is how it starts. In the nursery, the oldest cub was showing Jiwon a toy. It was a small carved figure. A Velkari warrior. The cub chirped and pointed at the toy. Then it pointed at Jiwon warrior. Family. Pack, Jiwon laughed. It was the first time Rakesh had heard her really laugh. A happy sound, full of joy. The cubs chirped along with her, delighted. Later that night, there was a ceremony. The whole pack gathered in the main hall. Jiwon stood at the center. She looked nervous, scared but determined. Rakesh stepped forward. In his hand was a piece of black cloth. The mark of the pack, every member wore one. Jiwon, he said. His voice filled the hall. You saved our cubs. You protected our family. You bled for us. You fought beside us. You have earned your place here. He tied the black cloth around her arm. The mark of the pack, the symbol of family. You are Velkari now, Rakesh declared. You are pack. The warriors howled. Not in rage this time. In celebration. In welcome. The sound shook the walls. Jiwon tried not to cry but failed. Tears ran down her face. She had been alone for so long, lost without purpose. Now she had family. She had home. The cubs ran to her. They had been waiting at the edge of the hall. Now they jumped into her arms, all three at once. She caught them, laughing and crying at the same time. The pack celebrated late into the night. Stories were told. Songs were sung. Food was shared. Jiwon learned that Velkari celebrations were loud and chaotic and wonderful. She also learned that the cubs had names now. The pack had named them in traditional ceremony. The oldest was called Minho. The middle one was Suhyun. The youngest was Jaemin Minho. Rakesh told her it meant brave. Like the cub's mother. Like Jiwon herself, days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. The cubs grew bigger, stronger. They trained like other young Velkari, learning to hunt, to fight, to be warriors. But they also learned from Jiwon. She taught them about humans, about compassion, about protecting the weak instead of preying on them, about honor that came from mercy, not just strength. The other packs heard about what happened. A human in the Bloodfang pack, cubs raised by both species. It was strange, unusual. Some packs disapproved, but others were curious. They sent representatives to meet Jiwon, to see the cubs, to understand this new thing. Slowly, carefully, relationships began to form. Human colonies reached out to Velkari packs. Trade agreements were made. Cultural exchanges started. The galaxy was changing, all because one human chose to save 3 cubs. Years later, Minho would graduate from a human military academy, the first Velkari to do so. He would become a bridge between the two species, an ambassador. a symbol of what could be when different people chose to work together. But that was still in the future. For now, on the Blood Fang, Jiwan sat in the observation deck. The 3 cubs were with her. They were almost as tall as her now, growing so fast. Soon they would curl up beside her. Minyo rested his head on her lap. Suhyun leaned against her side. Jaemin sprawled across her feet. They purred, that deep rumbling sound of contentment, of family, of home. Rakesh found them there. He stood in the doorway watching. This strange little family, human and Velkari, together. They still love sleeping on you, he observed. Jiwan smiled. Some things never change. I am glad they do not, Rakesh said. You gave them something we could not. Safety, love, trust. Those are not small things. You gave me something too, Jiwan said quietly. A family, a home, a reason to keep going. Rakesh sat down beside them. Minyo opened one eye, saw his uncle, and closed it again. Content, safe, loved by both his families. The pack came, were ready to kill, ready for blood. Instead, we found our cubs sleeping on a human's chest. And the alpha stood, not in rage, but in wonder. What changed? Jiwan asked. Rakesh looked at her. At the cubs. At this impossible family. Everything. We learned that strength is not just claws and fangs. We learned that humans can be fierce protectors. We learned that family is not always about blood. Sometimes it is about choice. About who shows up when everything falls apart. Jiwan nodded. She understood. The pack had changed. She had changed. The galaxy was changing. All because one human could not abandon 3 children in need. Outside the observation window, stars drifted past. The Blood Fang traveled through space toward new adventures, new challenges, new opportunities, but inside this room, peace reigned. 3 cubs slept on their adopted mother. An alpha sat with his new pack member, and a family that should not exist thrived anyway, because that was humanity's greatest weapon. Not strength, not technology, not cleverness, it was compassion. It was the stubborn refusal to abandon those who needed help. It was the willingness to bleed for others, even strangers, even aliens, even those who might kill you. The galaxy was full of predators, full of warriors, full of species who survived by being strong. But humanity survived by being kind, by building bridges, by protecting the weak, and sometimes that changed everything. Minho stirred in his sleep. He made a small, happy sound. His paw reached out and touched Jiwan's hand. Even asleep, seeking that connection. That